but the lips of the wise shall preserve them.
All right, so everybody, y'all get on our knees and y'all pray right now. Let's go on our knees. Cause who is of the higher power? They don't have no power getting on their knees and praying. No, nobody, right?
Is that,
you still holding your staff, right? You still holding your staff, right?
Hold on, brother. Hold on, brother.
All right.
Hold on, brother.
Y'all ain't trying to pray, right?
Hold on, brother.
Exactly.
Hey, hold on,
I
brother.
want to hear that, man.
Hold on, brother.
I want to hear that, man.
Verse 18.
Read that.
I will raise them up a prophet from among their brethren.
Who's that prophet is talking about?
Jesus himself.
You heard that? He said, you heard him?
Jesus
You heard him?
himself.
Oh, that's right. It's about to be good.
Jesus
It's about to
himself.
read that.
I will raise them up a prophet from among their brethren, like unto thee. And I will put my words in his mouth.
No, whose words?
I will put my words in his mouth.
They Christ's words.
And I will put my words in his mouth.
So whose law is it?
Jesus.
As you can, as strong as you can, with all your heart, with all your body, with all your soul, right? Yeah. Who are you?
I'm an Israelite.
That's right.
That's right. All praises. All praises.
I'm an Israelite.
Yes, sir! We're Israelites. Where travel you from, brother?
Amen. Amen.
Another scripture that you can go to that will talk about a spiritual Israelite.
Spiritual Israelite?
Because that's what you referred to when you went to Galatians 2. Because there isn't one. Romans 2, select.
Not off the top of my head.
Because there's not one, right? Give me Romans 9 and 3.
This is the book of Romans chapter 9 and verse 3, and it reads.
I can look at you and tell that you look like somebody that they would have called a mulatto. Meaning you have one white parent and one so-called black parent. That's how you look. You don't want to tell us and divulge where you're from, but the spirit will manifest on its own. Go ahead.
For I could wish that myself were accursed from Christ,
right?
For my brethren,
right?
My kinsmen,
right?
According to the flesh,
to the spirit,
to the flesh,
right? Read.
Who are Israelites?
Who are what?
Who are Israelites?
So Paul's brethren, according to the flesh, not spiritually, are the Israelites, right? Romans chapter 9, verse 3. Right?
Keep reading.
No. Got it? Yeah. All right. So that's dealing with the flesh. It's not dealing with any spiritualness, right? There's no spiritual. I can't spiritually become a damn East Indian man. I can't do it. I can't damn move to damn East India, put a dot on my head, and say now my nationality is East Indian. They're not gonna accept me as East Indian. No. 9 times out of 10, they're gonna still call me a nigga like they would in America. 9 times out of 10. Right? I can't damn, put on the damn Carlton spirit with the damn polo shirt on, right? The damn sweater around my damn neck, right? And some damn Dockers on and say I'm a so-called white man. It's not gonna happen. I'm not Caucasian now. My nationality is still my nationality.
That's right.
Just because I accept manners of another people does not make me of that national stock. My children are still going to be the same stock that I am.
That's right.
So we have a common misconception that is taught in Christianity, that what we like to call replacement theology, right? Where they replace the Israelites and the promises that were given to the Israelites, and they say it was given to the church. But you don't find that in the Bible. The only thing you find in the Bible is that the Lord is still dealing with Israel.
That's
Even
right.
from the man Paul that you call upon. Give me Romans 11 and 1.
This is the book of Romans chapter 11 and verse 1.
Bring it out.
I say then, hath God cast away his people?
Right, read.
God forbid.
God forbid. The Lord still to this day has not cast away his people. Read.
For I also am an Israelite.
Am a what?
And an Israelite.
It doesn't matter.
I am an Israelite.
Paul is telling you right now, I am an Israelite. After saying God has not cast away his people, letting you know that there's great significance to still being an Israelite. Right? Romans 3 and 1. Read on.
Of the seed of Abraham.
Right.
Of the tribe of
He
Benjamin.
even got as specific as telling you the tribe he's from. That's how important it is. He's telling you the tribe that he's from. Right? Not just that he's an Israelite, but also the tribe he's from. Right? Romans 3 and 1.
Romans 3 and verse 1. What advantage then hath the Jew?
Right?
Or what profit is there of circumcision?
Read.
Much every way.
No, there's no advantage.
Much every way.
There is an advantage in every single way of being a Jew. Much every way. What else? Read on.
Chiefly because that unto them were committed the oracles of God.
See, the oracles of God were committed unto the Jews. Right? So everywhere we go, it doesn't matter where we go in the scriptures, we're going to find out that the Lord is still dealing with Israel. We're going to find out that the Israelites are still the Lord's chosen people.
That's right.
Right? So I'm going to ask you again to see if you answer. What's your nationality? Where are you from?
My dad is Dominican and my mom is African American.
You see that? And you an Israelite, sister. All that and you an Israelite. All that, and you can still learn the greatest news of your life, that you will be in the tribe of Simeon. Right? So now let me ask you a
How do
question.
you get from here to there?
Well, we can deal with that, but let me ask you a question. Right? I see your badge, and I seen two of your counterparts. They walked by, they kind of scurried off. They got up out of here because it was going to get hot. Right? I want to know about what you guys are teaching, or what you've been taught.
Can I ask you a question? What are the oracles of God to you?
The oracles of God are the laws of the Most High God. Oracle means law or commandment.
All of the laws?
All the laws.
Which day do you keep holy?
We keep the 7th day of the Lord holy.
So this is your Sabbath today.
Our Sabbath started last night at sundown, and it's going to end tonight at sundown. And we're going to have another Sabbath as soon as the sun goes down because it's a new moon.
That's right.
Okay, so you have 2 Sabbaths?
Well, the new moon is a Sabbath day.
Okay, so you keep the festivals.
We keep all the high holy days as commanded in the Bible.
Okay, well we also share the Sabbath day. We don't keep the festivals.
So you're a Jehovah's Witness.
Jehovah's Witnesses
Latter-day
keep
Saint.
Jehovah's Witnesses keep.
I believe they do keep the 7-day Sabbath.
7-day Adventist.
No, I was raised 7-day Adventist.
You were?
Partially. Yeah, I had to get up out of there, man. The Lord not dealing with 7-day Adventists, man.
Why not?
Well, y'all understand one thing I'll give you credit for. Y'all don't believe in hell, which is true, because there is no physical hell. Why not though? Let me ask you a question. Well, first you asked about how we got here. Let's deal with that.
Yeah, let's go there. Like, how do you get those tribes from us being part of that tribe?
All right, so give me Deuteronomy 28.
The book of Deuteronomy 28.
Give me 15.
Deuteronomy 28 and 15.
Bring it out.
But it shall come to pass,
Right?
if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God,
Genesis 49.
to observe, to do all his commandments,
Right.
and his statutes,
Right.
which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
Right, up to 46.
Verse 46. And they shall be upon thee
So these curses will be upon the Israelites, right? Read.
for a sign.
For what?
For a sign.
What is a sign used for?
Indicate something that's happening.
To indicate something that's happening, or to show you where Shema is, right? So these curses are upon the Israelites for an indicator. Read.
For a sign.
Right.
And for a wonder.
Right.
And upon thy seed forever.
So these curses are upon the Israelites for a sign, an indicator, and a wonder upon their seed forever. Meaning, as long as the Israelites are producing children, these curses are upon them in order to identify who they are, even in the last days. So, go to 15.
Verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou,
16, it's locked up.
verse 16, cursed shalt thou be in the city,
Right?
and cursed shalt thou be in the field.
So the Israelites, no matter what city you go to in the world, they're going to be cursed in the city, meaning living in the low parts of the city, being killed by their own people and by their oppressors in the city, being in high prison populations in the city, right? So no matter where you go, in Houston, in Texas, in even go to damn Europe, I don't care where you go, you're gonna find so-called black and Hispanic people living in low estates in every city that you go to, right? Here in Houston, you have a place called Denver Harbor, which is predominantly Hispanic, right? And those Hispanics, they're not living like this in high rises, right? They're not having the best jobs and owning all the things that the so-called white man owns out here, right? They don't have those things, which is a form of being cursed in the city, right? Then it says what? Read on.
Cursed shalt thou be in the city, and cursed shalt thou be in the field.
And cursed shalt thou be in the field, right? The people in the Dominican Republic, they literally were cursed in the field when the Spaniards got over to the Dominican Republic, named it the Dominican Republic, and brought them the damn so-called white Jesus over here, right? And made them believe in damn Catholicism, right? and had them working in the field as slaves. These same things that's going on right here is the same thing that was going on in the Dominican Republic when the Spaniards got there. And they took those same so-called Dominicans and took them to damn Spain to be slaves there as well, right? So that's being cursed in the field. Having damn whips on your back, damn picking corn, cotton, sugar cane, and all these other various things, that's a form of being cursed in the field. This is something that happened to our people, right? And this is one of the curses that are on the Israelites, right? Give me 32.
Verse 32. The sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people.
Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given to another people. This is a literal thing that happened to the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, man. Their sons and their daughters were given to another people, right? Taken away out of the hands of a mother and given to damn master, if you was Hispanic, damn master Rodriguez or something, man. You know, damn master Martinez or something, right? That's literally what happened. Longing for your children, read it.
Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thine eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long.
Oh my mijo, oh my mijo, oh my mijo, my mija, right? That's literally what our people were screaming when the so-called Spaniards came and took their children from them and brought them to other plantations for them to work, man. That's a literal thing that happened. Their eyes filled with longing for them. This is a curse upon the Israelites. The so-called white man didn't go through this. The so-called Jewish man that's in our land right now didn't go through any of these curses. He's not cursed in the city. He's not cursed in the field. His children literally weren't stripped away from him and given to another people. These things didn't happen. Go to 37.
Verse 37.
All right, you can read this.
And there shall become and thou shalt become an astonishment.
Right.
A proverb.
Right.
And a byword.
And a byword, an astonishment. A proverb and a byword. Hey man, they look at Hispanics when they live 10 deep in one house as an astonishment, right? How do all of them live in one house, right? Ain't that an astonishment, right? How all of them live in one house? Why they all live together? That's an astonishment. Then it's a proverb and a byword. What is a proverb? A wise saying, right? About the African Americans, they love to say, if you want to hide something from a nigga, put it in your book, right? That's a literal proverb that's on a so-called black man, right? And on a so-called black woman, right? And it says a byword. A byword would be being called Hispanic. That's not a God-given nationality, right? Being called a damn spick or a wetback, right? Those are damn bywords that the other nations put on our people, right? That's a curse that's upon the Israelites, right? What's your question?
What about the Babylonian captivity?
What about the Babylonian captivity?
Like, weren't they, at one point, their children were cast down from the walls of the city? They starved to death in the city, and then they went out to the field, and the sword devoured them there. Like,
but that was our people, so what's your point? That was our ancestors. The curse that we just read, it said these curses are upon thee for a sign and for a wonder and upon thy seed forever. Meaning it doesn't stop with one captivity. Well, you would actually not be a Jew, but you would be an Israelite. Because the Jews, as I told you before, are Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. Right? Your father is a Dominican, so you're a so-called Dominican, so you would be Simeon, which means you would be of the northern kingdom, which wouldn't be a Jew, but an Israelite. Right? Your mother would be a Jew.
Does that happen to, both tribes, both sets of tribes, the Jews and the Israelites were both taken into captivity.
Right.
The Israelites were taken by the Babylonians, and the Jews
were taken by the Babylonians, and the Israelites were taken by the Assyrians.
Yeah.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
Right? And when you deal with that, that also proves who you are. Give me the book of 2 Ezra 13 and verse 40. That's also, the 2 Ezra is a book in the Apocrypha. You're not going to have that. 2 Ezra 13 and verse 40. King Salmanasar is who they went into captivity.
2 Ezra chapter 13 and verse 40.
Right, read.
And it reads, those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners.
The 10 tribes. So one of the tribes that your people will be from were carried away prisoners, right? Read.
Out of their own land in the time of Osi.
Right.
The king of Salmanasar.
The king Salmanasar, right? That was the Assyrian king. Read.
The king of Assyria.
Right.
Led away captive.
Right.
And he carried them over the waters. And so came they into another land.
Right.
But they took this counsel among themselves, that they would leave the multitude of the heathen,
right,
and go forth into a further country.
And go forth into a further country. Something just by your ponytail.
It's okay.
You might want to walk away.
I'm not gonna die.
Right? Hey. And so read that again.
But they took this counsel among themselves.
So the Israelites, the 10 tribes, right? Go ahead.
That they would leave the multitude of the heathen.
They wanted to leave the Assyrians, right? Go ahead.
And go forth into a further country.
Into a further country, read.
Where never mankind dwelt.
What part of the world was the part of the world that no man dwelt? The Americas, right? And who are the people that inhabited the Americas first?
Well, as far as I know, Native American.
So, Native Americans for North America, and what about Central and South America and the islands?
Native Americans there too.
Right? And they would be of who? Would that not be Dominicans? The so-called Dominicans?
Right.
Right? It's the so-called Dominicans and Taino Indians. Right? The Dominicans and the Puerto Ricans. Right? They were the people. They were the
Taino Indians.
Yeah, Taino Indians, the Arawak people. Right? Read that.
The Taino were Arawak people who were the indigenous people of the Caribbean
right.
and Florida. At the time of European contact in the late 15th century, they were the principal inhabitants of most of Cuba, Jamaica, Hispaniola, or the Dominican Republic and Haiti, and Puerto Rico.
See that? So the Bible is literally telling you about when your people came onto this land, right? So you can't, they can't teach off. They can't. Nobody else is gonna teach you this, right? That's why we out here. We out here to teach our people this, right? Because that's literally history that our people dwelled in these lands before the Europeans and the Spaniards came to this land and conquered these lands, right? The Bible is just telling you about them coming here when no man dwelt here, right? Go ahead, read on 2nd Ezra.
2nd Ezra, chapter 13 and verse 42.
Right.
That they might there keep their statutes,
right,
which they never kept in their own land.
So the reason why the Assyrian captivity even came, the reason why the Lord allowed the Assyrians to overtake the Israelites is because they were in idolatry. They weren't keeping the commandments of the Lord, right? So they weren't even keeping their commandments in their own land, but now they're saying we're going to go into the land where never no mankind dwelt in order to keep our commandments. That's what it's telling you. Go ahead.
And they entered into Euphrates by the narrow passage of the river.
Right.
For the Most High then showed signs for them.
Right.
And they held still the flood.
Right.
Till they were passed over. For through that country there was a great way to go.
Right. It was a long way to go because you go from the east side of the earth all the way to the west side of the earth. Right. Read.
Namely of a year and a half.
Right. Took them a year and a half. Read.
And the same region is called Archery.
And the same region is called Archery. And if you look up the word Archery, Google it, and you Google Archery, and you type in Jewish Encyclopedia. Archery Jewish Encyclopedia is going to tell you that that's the land that Columbus identified as the Americas. Archery Jewish Encyclopedia. Right? And they back. Modelo boys. Yeah, Modelo boys back, man. Modelo boys. Yeah, they kept circling around the block. They pull up, right? So this is literally your history written in the Bible, right?
I'm still struggling to find like the biblical basis for our people, because the way that I've been taught and raised to read the Bible, and as far as I know, we all descended from Noah.
We all did descend from Noah, but Noah had 3 sons.
And then he had Shem, Ham, and Japheth.
Now, and which person did the Lord choose out of Shem, Ham, and Japheth?
He chose Shem.
And then what person did he choose as the Shem?
He chose Shem's son.
Shem had many sons.
There's the elder.
So he always chose one seed line, all the way from Shem to Arphaxad to Enos to them.
Aren't we Ham?
Huh?
Aren't we Ham?
No, we're not him. No, we're not him. Who got that? Right? Somebody give me the Zondervan Compact in the Bible Dictionary. That's what they want to teach. That's why you got to get out of that Seventh-day Adventist, man. They want you to believe that you're Gentile. They want you to believe you're a Gentile so you'll be grateful for the things that they've given you, right? Somebody pull out the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary. Let's find out if we're him, right? We're far from him. Hey, look, if the so-called African man walked up right now right? Like they did, you kind of look at them and tell the difference. Even with the dark skin color. Just by the spirit that's on them, how they carry themselves. Right? No, we're not him. The Lord not dealing with him.
You don't got it on you, King?
The Zondervan, it should be in there. I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, I took it out when I went to Atlanta.
I got a picture of it, though.
I think I did take it out when I went to Atlanta.
Yeah, you took it out.
Right? Somebody bring out that Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary and ham, man. Right? Somebody give me the book of Exodus 11 and 7.
The book of Exodus, chapter 11 and verse 7.
Right?
No.
But against any of the children of Israel shall not a dog move his
Yeah,
tongue.
read that. You got it.
Ham, the youngest son of Noah, born probably about 96 years before the flood, and one of 8 people to live before the flood, he became the progenitor of the dark races, not the Negroes, but the Egyptians, Ethiopians, Libyans,
You said not the who?
not the Negroes.
Not the Negroes. So it is impossible for us to be him. And that's by the so-called white man. That's information we don't need to look for. That's the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary. You need to look into that. Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary. All right, we cross-reference with other scholar books, the things that we read in the Bible, as well as going into the languages of the Hebrew, the Greek, and the Aramaic.
About the fact that it says that the sons of Cush, okay, here's the generations.
In Genesis
By
10.
these, Genesis 10, by these were the isles of the Gentiles divided in their land.
So
Everyone.
before you go further, it just called those Gentiles. That's way back in Genesis. So now you learn something about the word Gentile. That just means nation. It doesn't always mean a non-Jew, like you're taught, right? No, I mean Moses. Moses.
So, if he's labeled Gentile,
Well, if you go into that word, the word is just gonna say goy, meaning nation. It can even mean animal. Somebody pull up that word Gentile in Genesis 10 in the Blue Letter Bible. The Blue Letter Bible. It's gonna say goy.
This is Strong's H1471.
Right? That's the concordance number, right? Read.
Goy, meaning outline of biblical usage, nation or people.
Right? Keep reading.
Nation, people, usually of non-Hebrew people.
Usually, meaning not always. Usually.
I don't see that here.
Are you in the Blue Letter Bible? We're in the Blue Letter Bible, the Strong's Concordances. You know what that is? All right, so
I don't use that one.
right, so
Maybe I can find it on Bible Hub.
huh? No, Bible Hub is not nowhere near the same as the Blue Letter Bible.
Let me look it up.
Right? BlueLetterBible.org. And even in full disclosure, even with the Blue Letter Bible, we always gotta look at the context of the way things are written. Right? We don't take everything in the Blue Letter Bible at face value, but a lot of it is correct. Right? It says the word goy, right? You know how to use it?
I clicked on the link. I don't know how to use it.
Right, so when it pops up, you'll click on the verse
You'll
that
click
you
on
want.
tools a lot. And then that version is going to be like something on the side that says tools.
Show her how to do it, King. Let Pato how to do it.
Where we at?
Show her how to do it. How to use it. The Blue Letter.
Looking for a Gentile, right?
Done. Time for my Pepto-Bismol medication. Usually, what does the word usually mean? Does it mean always?
No.
It means usually. at times, right? But before you even get to that point, it gives you nation people twice. The word Gentile usually it mainly means nation of people. The context of when it's being used is how you can determine what exactly it's going into, right? So even though you could say Moses wrote the book of Genesis, at that time when Genesis is speaking of Cush, there was no Israelite nation, right? So he's using that word Gentile as just nation of people. But nonetheless, you can't use it as non-Hebrew people when there were no Hebrew people.
Well, this is Strong's was written after Genesis, so.
It's a concordance. So it's not, the Strong's is not written. The Strong's is what it's doing is taking the translation of the word that we use in American language, and it's showing you what word it was translated from in the Hebrew language. And at times the Aramaic, and at other times the Greek, depending on when in the Bible it is. For better understanding, we have to go back into the words that it was actually written to truly understand what's being said, because many meanings get lost in translation, transliteration, right? But what was your point about Genesis 10, about Cush?
Well, it's just looking at the fact that, and the sons of Ham, Cush, Mizraim, and Put, and Canaan. So Cush is not, Cush isn't us.
Cush is the Ethiopians, the Somalians, and the Kenyans. And if you ask them that, they'll tell you that they come from Cush.
That's the land of Cush.
That's literally the land of Cush. East Africa. We come from Shem. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That's why we deal with the curses, because curses tell you, huh? Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Shem. So which son will depend on your tribe? So you will come from Simeon. So if you're of the tribe of Simeon, you come from the son of Simeon, but that's the son of Jacob that you come from.
I want to follow that in the Bible.
Say it again?
I want to follow that in the Bible.
So go to Genesis 49. Simeon and Levi are brothers.
This is the book of Genesis chapter 49 and verse 5, right? Simeon and Levi are brethren,
Right?
instruments of cruelty are in their habitations.
Right?
O my soul, come not thou into their secret, and Salak, unto their assembly, mine honor, be not thou united, for in their anger they slew a man, in their self-will they dig down a wall.
So Simeon and Levi are brethren, right?
Cursed.
Are Simeon and Levi the only brothers out of all these, or are all of them brethren?
They're all brothers.
What reason was it written in Genesis 49, which is talking about the end days? Genesis 49 and 1, he tells you, read 49 and 1.
And Jacob called unto his sons,
Right.
and said, gather yourselves together,
Right?
that I may tell you that which shall befall you in the last days.
So what's going on in Genesis 49 and 5 is Jacob telling them what's going to befall them in the last days, right? So when he tells them that they're brethren, well, he obviously knows they're brethren, right? But he's likening it unto something that's going to happen in the last days, right? So when you look at Simeon, which is the Dominican Republic, what nation of people is right next to the Dominican Republic? And what is Levi's tribe? I mean, who's Levi? And they're brethren in the last days, meaning they will be found right next to each other, right? That's what it's going into in Genesis 49 and 5. And it says instruments of cruelty is found in their habitation, right? One of the most cruelest places on the face of the earth is where? It will be hated, right? And Levi got what? Simeon and Levi got what? Read it.
Cursed be their anger, for it was fierce, and their wrath, for it was cruel. I will divide them in Jacob and scatter them in Israel.
Say he would divide them in Jacob and scatter them in Israel, but the main point is that they were cursed. Simeon and Levi were cursed because of what they did to the men in Shechem and slaying the man. So they were cursed, and in the last days they would be found with instruments of cruelty in their habitations. That's the reason, one of the main reasons why the Levites, which are the Haitians, live in such low, what is it called? Habitations. And why our old president said it was a damn shithole country, right? Because they were cursed. literally by the Most High God, right? So part of the way to go along with the curses that we understand who Simeon and Levi are on this chart is by Genesis 49, where it tells you what will befall these people in the last days, right? Them being brethren, because all of them are brethren, every last one of them, right? So it's not talking about an actual blood descendancy of brethren. It's likening them unto them being right next to each other in the last days, which is the Dominican prophecy of the Dominican Republic and the Haitians, right? So that's part of the way that we understand it. But our chief way of understanding who we are as Israelites in entirely, not so much the importance of the tribes, is by the curses in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 15 on down, right? Because it tells you in 46 that these curses will be upon you for a sign and for a wonder upon my seed forever, right? So I can tell you that you're from Africa, but where can I go in the Bible and show you that you're from Africa? Where in history can I show you that you're from Africa? Because history will tell you that your people were on this land prior to the slave ship coming, right? So if that's the case, how can they prove that you're from Africa? I just showed you in the Bible that the people of the 10 tribes would travel here when no man dwelt here, which we know the Dominicans were living here when no man dwelt here, which lines up with history. No person could walk up to you and say, let me show you how Dominicans came from Africa and went into their Dominican Republic. Nobody can show you that history. You can't, the transatlantic slave trade in 1692 is not going to show you. What about Judah? Judah came here through the slave trade. But you can prove that in history, and we can match it up with what the Bible says, right? Give me Deuteronomy 28 and 68.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 68.
Exodus 20 and 2.
And it reads, and the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again,
right?
With ships.
So it says the Lord is going to bring the Israelites into Egypt again with ships, right? Now, the so-called Dominican man and the so-called Haitian man, so on and so forth, in 1492, when Christopher Columbus made way over here, he took our people back from this side of the earth back to Spain and back to the French to be slaves on slave ships, right? But in 1692, our people were taken off the west coast of Africa and brought in here on slave ships. So it says, the Lord shall bring you into Egypt again. Now let's see what Egypt means in the Bible. Give me that, Exodus 20 and 2.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 20, verse 2.
Right.
I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt,
right?
Out of the house of bondage.
So Egypt is synonymous with the house of bondage. Another word for bondage is captivity or slavery. The Israelites were slaves in Egypt. So when the Lord speaks on Egypt to the Israelites, he's bringing it back to memory what they went through in Egypt. So when he says, I am the Lord thy God, which brought thee out of Egypt, out of the house of bondage, the Israelites already know, hey, we was hard bondage in Egypt. We don't want to go back to that place. We don't want to go back to being slaves. You know, plenty of times, wicked Israel was like, hey, we could have just been better in Egypt. Being wicked.
Said that in the wilderness.
Just wicked, man.
They said that.
And that's how you know they are people. We wicked like that, right? So, you know.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
Into slavery again, right, Reed?
With ships.
With ships. There's only one time in the history of America, or in the history period, where people went into slavery on slave ships in masses, which was what? The transatlantic slave trade in 1692. Right, Reed?
By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again.
So it says in the book of Deuteronomy chapter 14 that we would no longer see physical Egypt again as a nation, right? And it also likens us to not being able to see our homeland again, right? Read on.
Come on. Thou shalt see it no more again.
Right.
And there you shall be sold unto your enemies.
There you shall be sold unto your enemies. So when you get off those slave ships, you're literally going to be sold unto your enemies. What happened when we got off the slave ships? So-called black Americans. What happened to us when we got off the slave ships? What happened? We were sold, right? That's literally what the Bible is telling us is going to happen, right? Read.
Come, thou shalt see it no more again, and there you shall be sold unto your enemies,
right?
For bondmen and bondwomen,
slave man and slave woman. Read.
And no man shall buy you.
And no man shall buy you, because in the Hebrew custom, right, if your brother waxed him poor, right, and he became in servitude to you, another person could buy you out of that captivity, meaning redeem you out of that captivity. He's saying here, hey, this bondage I'm putting you in, no man is going to be able to redeem you out of that captivity. That's the reason why Christ is called the Redeemer, right? Because he's going to come back and redeem us out of this captivity. Not only did he redeem us from the curse of the law, he also is going to redeem us from the captivity, pursuant to the book of Luke chapter 1 and verse 7. Let's get that, right?
The book of Luke chapter 1
No, that's not what it's talking
and
about.
verse 70.
Verse 68, it's cool.
Verse 68. Blessed be the Lord God of Israel,
Right?
for he hath visited and redeemed his people,
Right? Visited and redeemed his people. Right? Read.
and hath raised up a horn of salvation for us,
Right.
in the house of his servant David, as he spake by the mouth of his holy prophets,
Right.
which have been since the world began,
Which have been since the world began. Read.
that we should be saved,
That we shall be what?
that we should be saved
Read.
from our enemies.
From who?
From our enemies.
Who are we sold unto in the book of Deuteronomy 28 and 68? Who did it say we're sold to?
In Deuteronomy,
Yeah. To your enemies. And it's saying the horn of salvation out of the house of the servant David. Who is that?
one more time.
Who is the horn of salvation out of the house of the servant David? Jesus. So it's saying Jesus is going to save the Israelites out of the hand of their enemies. That's that redemption that we're going to get that we cannot get from any other man. Right? That's what that's going into. Right? So although you've been taught that Christ he came for everybody and is coming for everybody, the book of Luke chapter 1 and verse 68 is telling you that Christ is coming to redeem the Israelites from the hand of their enemies. The book of Deuteronomy 28 and 68 is telling you the Israelites were sold to their enemies, and we were sold into the hands of the so-called white man, right? So the Lord is telling you right here in Luke that when Christ returns, he's going to save the Israelites out of the hand of the people they were sold to. And that's plain. And they're not going to teach you that in the Adventist church. I'm sorry. Right? You know why? Because as we got right here, your Adventist church was created by a so-called white man. Right? Where is it at? Baptist, Mormon, Adventist. Ellen G. White. So hey, Ellen G. White ain't going to tell you the truth. Ellen G. White not going to tell you what's going on. Ellen G. White was set up to be a stumbling block unto our people. That's why you were taught that you was a Hamite. That's all. That's all, sister. You don't look, sister. Ain't no Hamite in you. Ain't no Hamite in you. You
I
know.
have a question right here. Luke says that the horn of salvation will be raised for his people for redeeming us.
Uh huh.
But what did Jesus come to save us? What did Jesus come to save us?
Came to say, well, we read it in Matthew 1 and 21. What he came the first time for, but he's going to come a second time. He came the first time as a sheep, right? As a lamb. But he's coming back as a what? As a lion, right? And what does a lion do? Devour, right? And he's coming back to devour our enemies, the same enemies that put us in captivity. So the first time, as it says in Matthew 1 and 21, he came as a lamb to die for the sins of Israel, right? But he's returning as a lion. Well, who are we sold unto?
I'd like to go to Genesis, or at least look, Genesis 3 was the serpent. That was our first enemy that led Eve.
Was that a physical snake?
It was a physical snake.
It was a physical snake. It was a physical snake that was walking on 2 legs and was talking. That's what was going on.
No, it was the devil speaking through snake.
It was a devil, so the devil went inside a snake, opened the snake's mouth, and started talking.
Is that what the Bible says?
No. No. Give me the book of Hosea 12 and 10. No. Give me the book of Revelation chapter 12.
The book of Hosea
12, verse 9 says,
chapter 12.
Hold on, sister.
Revelation 12, 9
Hold on, sister.
Hosea chapter 12 and verse 10. I have also spoken by the prophets.
Right.
And I have multiplied visions and used similitudes.
And used what?
And used similitudes.
What is a similitude, sister?
It's something that's like a parable or something that's...
It's just likening something under something. It's a simile, right? So when he refers to something as a snake, he's referring to a man with a snake-like a characteristic or spirit. It's not talking about a physical snake. It's talking about a nation of people or a man that literally had a snake spirit inside of him, a serpent spirit, right? That's why in Revelation 12 and 9 it says that old serpent, right? Read that.
And the great dragon.
The great dragon. What is a dragon? What type of animal is it?
It's not a real living animal.
But what type of animal is it? What is a Komodo dragon?
It's a reptile.
A snake. It's a form of a snake, a reptile, right? They're the same family, right? Read.
And the great dragon
Right.
was cast out.
Right?
That old serpent
That old serpent, right? Read.
called the devil
Called the devil. Read.
and Satan,
And Satan, right? Read.
which deceiveth the whole world.
So this person, these people are the people that deceive the whole world. It's not one man. It's a nation of people that deceive the whole world.
That's right.
It's not one animal. A snake can't deceive the world. A snake ain't a slither of snake ain't deceive the world.
Yeah,
Right?
That has to be something.
This is dealing with a characteristic of a people. Now I'm gonna ask you a question. Who is this?
Well, a portrayal of Jesus.
Has this deceived the whole world?
Well, the portrayal of Jesus has.
So has this image deceived the whole world?
No.
So you're telling me that this image has not been used to conquer the whole world and make people believe that this is Jesus Christ? Since I grew up in Christianity, all these brothers grew up in Christianity. Every last one of us, at one point in time of our life, believed that this was Christ. All of us.
Yeah, that's what people like.
All of us did.
That wasn't how I was raised.
Hey, you were a very fortunate person. That's a very that's a very minute. You're in a very minimal amount of people in the world. Most people at one time or another, even if they say they weren't raised that way, if they go get a tattoo of Jesus, it's him. Even the ones that say they knew he was black, they get a tattoo of Jesus, it's him. They get a Jesus piece, it's him. Every time. That's deception of the whole world. There's no way around it. The so-called white man literally has deceived the world to having people believe that he is the chosen people of God. He's deceived the world to have people believe that he is God. He's the man that deceived the whole world. There's no way around it, right? Who runs the earth right now? Give me Job 9:24. Who runs the earth right now? What nation of people run the earth?
Well, the good.
Huh?
Basically, the U.S.
What nation of people though? Not the U.S. Huh?
What nation of people?
What nation of people? What race of people?
The U.S. is a mixed bag. There are a lot of people that don't.
Sister,
I know.
you know exactly. You know what race of people run the world, right? Read that.
This
Job
is the book of
9:24.
Job, chapter 9 and verse 24.
Right.
The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof.
He covereth the face of the judges thereof. The earth is given unto the hand of the wicked. The wicked of the earth are the people that run the earth. And the wicked that run the earth is the so-called white man. We're not scared to say it up here. The so-called white man are the people that run the earth right now. Right? And the Lord is telling you right now that the earth was given into the hand of the wicked. Meaning that the so-called white man is wicked. Even deeper than that, it says he covered the face of the judges thereof. Christ is the chief judge. Moses was a judge. If I Google a picture of Moses right now, damn Charles Heston's gonna damn pop up, man. Damn so-called white man. If I Google damn Paul, a so-called white man is gonna pop up. But Paul was mistaken as an Egyptian, right? Did not say, art thou not that Egyptian?
Can I tell you my project? When I studied in college, communication, what I wound up studying, I did a senior project. And my project was on images and symbolism and why black men and Asian men and different nationalities are not portrayed the same way as white people. So I understand where you're coming from. I really do. At the same time, you know, I'd like to understand like Revelation 14:6. Like, you know, what does your religion say about that? What does that mean?
Well, first, we're not in a religion.
Okay.
We're just in our heritage as Israelites.
What does your nation say about that?
About Revelation 14:6.
Yeah.
Why would you want to go to something as deep as Revelation 14:6 when you're having trouble understanding Genesis 3?
You know,
Give me
from
some
your
things.
perspective, I'm having trouble understanding, but maybe you could try to explain.
Well, first we need to understand Genesis 3 because we going way to the end of the book and the deep parables of Revelation when we haven't dealt with Genesis 3. You opened your mouth to literally. I'm sorry, since you opened your mouth to literally say that was a physical serpent. That's not what it is. It's not. There's never been a talking snake, right? There's never been a talking snake that's literally talking about a nation of people. So you're of the mindset that Adam and Eve were on the earth alone. So Adam and Eve were on the earth alone, then then why would you believe that that's a physical snake and not other people?
You don't believe in demon possession?
Do I believe in demon possession? I mean, well, the Bible has references of people possessed with spirits, but it wasn't a demon possession of animals.
You don't think that can happen?
Well, the only time a spirit hopped on an animal was the donkey in the book of Numbers. But it didn't happen that way. But when it happened to pigs, they didn't speak.
But they acted, right?
Right? Huh? The kids, they committed suicide. They didn't
Pigs
speak.
don't normally do that.
They don't, but they didn't speak.
They didn't speak, but they read the Bible.
What's that? Numbers, I believe.
22.
Oh, read that.
It's the book of Sirach, chapter 3,
Listen to this, sister.
and verse 21.
Get out.
Seek not out the things that are too hard for thee, neither search things that are above thy strength.
Right? So, sister, you gotta be careful of seeking out things that are too high for you. You want to go to Revelation 14. We kind of gotta, you gotta deal with the simpler matters of the scriptures. Understanding one that we're here. Understanding one that you're not a Hamite, right? That the so-called white man is evil, right? And the Lord not dealing with him, right? And that the damn Seventh-day Adventist church is not gonna get you the kingdom. Being a Seventh-day Adventist. Lord not coming back to save the Seventh-day Adventists. He's literally coming back for the children of Israel that repent. I believe it's 23.
It's 22.
But
She come with the $5.
yeah,
$5.
oh. No, not right now. Did have a conversation. Go ahead. Read it.
Numbers 22 and 28. And the Lord opened the mouth of the ass, and she.
Hey, wait, hold on. What did it say?
The Lord opened the mouth of the ass.
All right, let's go back to. We're gonna read it, but let's go back to Genesis 3. Let's say if the Lord opened the mouth of the serpent.
Now the serpent. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field,
right?
Which the Lord God had made.
More subtle than any beast of the field. What does beast mean? Give me the book of Ecclesiastes 3:18. Give me the book of 1 Peter, 2 Peter 2 and 10. Or is it 1 and 2?
Ecclesiastes 3:18.
Right.
Get out.
I said in my heart concerning the estate of the sons of men.
The sons of who?
The sons of men.
Read.
That God might manifest them.
Right.
And that they might see that they themselves are beasts.
Are what?
Are beasts.
Are what?
Are beasts.
So who are also referred to as beasts in the scripture? People. Right? Read that.
2 Peter chapter 2 and verse 12.
Right, read this. Hold on.
But these as natural brute beasts.
As what?
As natural brute beasts.
2 Peter 2 and 11. Down to 12.
Verse 11. Whereas angels, which are great in power and might, bring not railing accusation against them before your house.
Right?
But these, as natural brute beasts, made to be taken and destroyed, speak evil of the things that they understand not.
Right? That's dealing with men.
And shall utterly perish in their own corruption.
Right? Is Christ not a lamb? Are Israel not the lost sheep? Right?
Is Christ the literal lamb?
Is he referred to as a lamb in the scripture? Are we referred to as the lost sheep of the house of Israel? Right? Are we referred to as doves? Right? So men are referred to as beasts. So when it says that the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field, it's literally talking about men. Right? Men are likened unto beasts. Right? Go ahead. Anybody that does not have the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High God is referred to as a beast. Right? That's what he just told you. Right? Go ahead.
And he said unto the woman, Yea, hath God said, ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden?
So it's plain. The Lord didn't say he opened the mouth of the serpent. It told you that he was the most subtle beast of the field, letting you know that he was of these other nations. He was the most subtle one of all the other men that were in the field at the time. Right? That's what it's going into. So we can go back to Numbers. Well, I misspoke, but I will still go to it. I ain't too proud to I ain't too proud to say when I misspoke.
Numbers chapter
Did have a
22
conversation.
and verse 28.
Right?
Get up.
And the Lord opened the mouth of the ass.
But we got to understand the separation right there. It makes it clear that this is not a similitude. The Lord opened the mouth of the ass. He's making it clear. This is not a similitude. I'm letting you know right now that I opened the mouth of this ass. That's what the Lord is letting you know. Read.
And she said unto Balaam,
Right?
what have I done unto thee,
Right.
that thou hast smitten me 3 times?
Right.
And Balaam said unto the ass,
Right.
because thou hast mocked me, I would there were a sword in mine hand,
Right.
for now would I kill thee. And the ass said unto Balaam, am not I thine ass, upon which thou hast ridden ever since I was thine unto this day?
Right.
Which I ever want to do so unto thee. And he said, nay. Then the Lord opened the eyes of Balaam, and he saw the angel of the Lord standing in the way, and his sword drawn in his hand. And he bowed down his head and fell flat on his face.
And this is letting you, the rest on this is letting you know in every instance that the Lord is doing these things. Right? The Lord literally opened the mouth of the ass, and the Lord opened the eyes of Balaam to see the angel that was standing right around him, because we understand that there's angels around us right now that we can't see him, because the Lord hasn't given us the spiritual vision to see. Right? But he opened the eyes of Balaam for him to see that damn death angel standing right here. The Lord had right. Right? So it's the same way with the ass. I misspoke, and I can you know, admit that the ass did have a conversation, right? But nonetheless, it makes it very clear at the beginning that the Lord opened the mouth of the ass, which is a clear separation between Genesis 3 and Numbers 22, right? The Numbers 22 is a similitude, like the rest of Numbers 22. Genesis 3 is a similitude like the rest of Genesis, right? Let's go back to Genesis 3.
Genesis 3 and verse 2.
Right.
And the woman said unto the serpent, we may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden.
Right? Is that dealing with an actual fruit? Give me the book of Matthew chapter 7. Right? 7 and 21. Or maybe 17. Maybe 17. Yeah, bring it out.
Matthew 7 and 17. Even so, every good tree bringeth forth good fruit, but a corrupt tree bringeth forth evil. Verse 16. You shall know them by their fruits.
By their what?
By their fruits.
Right, read.
Do men gather grapes of thorns or figs of thistles?
Right.
Even so, every good tree bringeth forth good fruit, but a corrupt tree bringeth forth evil fruit.
So the fruit that is dealing with in the scriptures is talking about works. Right? Your works is what it's dealing with. It's dealing with the works of the other nations. Pretty much going into their ways or their philosophies or their doctrines and the ways that they do things.
That's right.
It's not dealing with a physical fruit, a damn apple or a pear. It's literally dealing with going into the ways of the other nations.
Teach,
because
Doc.
men are liking the trees in the scriptures as well. Give me the book of Mark chapter 8 and 21. Right? Give me the book of Psalms chapter 1 and verse 1. Give me the book, somebody get up. Yeah, give me the book of Ezekiel chapter 31 and verse 2.
Mark chapter 8 and verse 1.
Mark 8 and 21.
This is the book of Mark, chapter 8, and verse 21.
Go.
And it reads, and he said unto them, how is it that you do not understand?
Go to 24, so lucky.
Verse 24. And he looked up and said, I see men as trees.
I see what?
I see men as trees.
Right, read.
Walking. Shalak. Yeah, walking.
Right, so the man, Christ healed the man's eyes, and he says, I see men as trees walking. Well, we know trees don't physically walk, right? It's dealing with men being trees, right? And you can say, well, you know, it's because he was healing them at first, and his eyes kind of didn't work, so he kind of saw his trees. So he told him to wipe his eyes again, and now he clearly saw them. That's not what's going on. When is Yahweh Shai's miracles not worked at first? You kind of had to start her up. You kind of had to kick it into gear. Okay, it works now. No, it's not what's going on, right? It's letting you know that men are liking this. And we're going to further prove it through the Spirit of the Most High, man. Give me the book of Psalms chapter 1.
Psalms 1 and 1. Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly,
right? Nor
sitteth in the way of sinners,
right?
Nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in the law of the Lord,
right?
And in his law doth he meditate day and night,
right?
And he shall be like a tree.
Like a what?
Like a tree.
Like a what?
Like a tree. Planted by the rivers of water, that bringeth forth his fruit in his season.
Right?
His leaf also shall not wither.
Men have leaf. Read.
His leaf also shall not wither, and whatsoever he doeth shall prosper.
So he gonna have good fruit. That's what it's saying. He gonna bear good fruit. Read.
The ungodly are not so,
Right?
but are like the chaff which the wind driveth away. Therefore the ungodly shall not stand in the judgment, nor sinners in the congregation of the righteous.
What's the rest on that? Give me Ezekiel 31 and 3.
This is Ezekiel chapter 31, verse 3. Behold, the Assyrian was a cedar in Lebanon.
This is actually dealing with Adam. It's not talking about a physical Assyrian. This is literally dealing with Adam being the chosen. Literally what Ezekiel 31 is going into. Go ahead.
With fair branches.
With what?
With fair branches.
Do men have fair branches? Read.
And with the shadowy shroud, and of an high stature, and his top was among the thick boughs.
Right.
The waters made him great.
Right.
The deep set him up.
And what waters is they talking about that made this man so great? You know? It's the same waters. It's the same waters that you read in Psalms 1. We say he shall be planted like a tree by the rivers of waters. So how do you know what these waters are? What scripture? So now you're learning, but let me give you a better one. Give me Ephesians 5.
The book of Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 26.
Bring it up.
That he might sanctify it and cleanse it with the washing of water by the word.
The washing of water by the word. So the waters at times represent the word of the Most High God. So Adam was planted as a fair tree with thick boughs because he was sucking up the word of the Most High God. He was given the word of the Most High God. That's why he was the one that was set over the garden, over all the other plants. Plants are also likened unto men. Trees and grass is likened unto men in the scriptures as well. Right? So he was the one that was set to actually be the keeper of the garden. Meaning what? Teaching people the righteousness ways of the Most High God. Rebuking the people is what he's supposed to be doing. Not going into the ways of the other nations. Same as Israel was set up as the light of the world, and they weren't supposed to go into the ways of the other nations, but they did what? They went into the ways of the other nations. Right? It's the same thing that Adam and Eve did. They went into the ways of the other nations. They picked up on their works, whatever it was. It never gives you, understanding of what the work was, but they went into that, right? What was I about to go to? Yeah, continue.
The waters made him great. The deep set him up on high with her rivers.
So the waters made him great, right? The waters made Adam great. So that understanding, the word of the Lord is what made Adam great. Read.
Running round about his plants.
Right? Running around about his plants. The other men. Right? Read.
And sent out her little rivers,
right,
unto all the trees of the field.
So he sent out little rivers to the other trees of the field. He's given the other rivers the understanding in the word of the Lord. Adam was a teacher, right? Read.
Therefore his height was exalted above all the trees of the field, and his boughs were multiplied.
So his height was exalted above all the trees of the field. Meaning Adam had great, he was a man of renown above all the other nations of the field because he had the wisdom of the Lord. He was chosen to get the wisdom of the Lord, right? So, once again, men are likened unto trees. The works of men are likened unto off the trees. So the works that are the fruit that Adam and Eve took in was literally the ways of the other nations, right? The ways of the serpent, which was a wicked nation or a wicked man, and said, "Hey man, hey, homosexual ain't that bad. Homosexual ain't that bad, right?" It could have been that. Who knows what it was? Right? It doesn't give an account of what it was. But whatever it was, it could have been as simple as idolatry. They bow down to this damn, whatever. Whatever it was, they went into another way that the Lord told them not to deal with. Right? He told them not to deal with the forbidden damn fruit. Meaning what? The ways of the other nations. The same way he told us to stay away from the other nations as Israelites. Stay away from their ways as Israelites. He said, hey, all the nations round about you serve not their God, fear not their God. It's the same thing. It's just the Lord gave it to you in a similitude instead of giving it to you plain upon tables. Genesis is a very deep book. It's not a light book. People read Genesis and think it's kind of simple. It's just what it says and that's it. It's a lot deeper than that. From the very first Genesis 1 with the creation of light and darkness is deeper than just the actual light and darkness. Right? It's literally dealing with the understanding of man. Right? Because light represents what? Wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. darkness represents lack of wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Right? So that light that came out of the darkness was the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding that the Lord put on the earth. Right? Which what he gave unto Adam. Right? It's a lot deeper than the simple way they want us to look at the Bible. Right? And these understandings come from keeping the commandments of the Lord. Right? I didn't go to theology school. None of these brothers did. Right? Hey, 4 years ago, I didn't know what the hell was going on. Right? But the Lord put the spirit on the men that we learned from and put the spirit on us to keep the commandments. And through keeping of the commandments, the Lord gave us understanding of the person. Right? Psalms 111 and verse 10.
Psalms 111 and verse 10.
Bring it up.
The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom.
Right?
A good understanding have all they that do his commandments.
A good understanding have all they that do his commandments. Right? So we through the spirit of the Most High God, we don't take no credit. Right? Through the spirit of the Most High God, through his grace and his mercy. Right? We're given an opportunity to understand the scriptures. And even greater than that, to teach our people who we truly are. Not to no longer believe the lies that's been set up as a stumbling block to our people. Right? Hey, the damn 7-day Adventist been around since damn 1863. What has it done for the so-called Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans?
Well, I know that we had carried after our prophet.
I can't hear you.
Our prophet told us that we're supposed to go to the South and minister specifically to African Americans because
Yeah, to give us a bad doctrine. That's not a good thing, right? They would tell you to give it to specifically African Americans to tell them that they damn Hamlets, right? Exactly. That's not a good thing, and I'll be careful who I call a prophet because what is a? Give me Deuteronomy 18 and 18. You gotta be careful who you call a prophet. 18 and 18. Right? Give me Jeremiah 28:9.
It's Deuteronomy chapter 18, verse 18. I will raise them up a prophet from among their brethren,
Right?
like unto thee,
Right? It's talking about Christ. Read.
and will put my words in his mouth,
Right? Read.
and he shall speak unto them all that I shall command him.
Right? So a prophet is supposed to speak all the words that the Most High commands them. Read.
And it shall come to pass that whosoever will not hearken unto my words, which he shall speak in my name, I will require it of him.
Right?
But the prophet which shall presume to speak a word in my name,
Right? A prophet that presumes to speak a word in the name of the Most High. Read.
which I have not commanded him
Which he has not commanded. Read.
to speak, or that shall speak in the name of other gods,
Right?
even that prophet shall die.
He shall die. So you gotta be careful when you call a prophet, man. You call that man a prophet. If you speak words and they're not in the name of the Most High, and the Lord did not give him those words, hey, the Lord gonna kill that man. Right? He don't take that lightly, right? So I mean, I would venture to say that the man that you call a prophet is not a prophet, right? I would venture to say that, right?
she's a woman too.
It's a what?
She's a woman.
What woman prophet do you know in the Bible?
Hold on.
Huldah is a prophetess. And what does a prophetess do?
Prophet says what God tells him.
She speaks. Are you sure? Was Miriam a prophet? Tess? What does she do? What do prophetess do?
Well, she's saying that
Prophetess, that's what they do. They sing.
they prophesy.
They prophesied through singing.
Agabus also had
Agabus was not a woman. Who told you Agabus was a woman?
Agabus was a man who had 7 daughters who prophesied.
And how do they prophesy?
I wasn't there.
All right, let's find out. Give me the book of 1 Timothy chapter 2. All right, let's find out if women speak to prophesy. 2 and 12.
It is 1 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 12.
Right?
But I suffered not a woman to teach,
Right?
nor to usurp authority over the man,
Right?
but to be in silence.
But to what?
But to be in silence.
Prophesy.
But to be in silence.
Teach men.
But to be in silence.
But to be in silence. So how is it that the woman you're speaking of could be a prophet when Paul is telling you right now that women are not supposed to usurp authority over men, but to be in silence? I'm listening.
Did you know that before he called 2 other people, including 1 black man,
What are you referring to?
the calling of the prophet,
Okay.
Ellen White? She was not first choice. She was the last choice. First choice was a white man.
So-
second choice was a
So what
black
you're saying is the power of the Lord with the very first choice wasn't strong enough for that first person to do the calling, but the second person, the power of the Lord was strong enough.
man. You believe that God gives us freedom of choice?
No.
No.
Give me Ephesians 1 and 5.
Give me the book of Ephesians, chapter 1, and
Proverbs
verse
20 and 24.
The book of Ephesians chapter 1 and verse 5. Having predestinated us.
Having what?
Having predestinated us.
No, you have your own choice.
Having predestinated us.
What man can resist the will of the Most High God?
Having predestinated us.
Having predestinated us. Everything is predestinated. Read.
Unto the adoption
For the
of
tribe.
children by Yahweh Shai Mashiach to himself.
The tribe.
Right, so everything has been predestinated. Read that. Proverbs 20 and 24.
Proverbs chapter 20 and verse 24.
Pick it up.
Man's goings are of the Lord.
What?
Man's goings are of the Lord.
No, you can say you don't want to do it.
Man's goings are of the Lord.
A man's goings are of the Lord. Right? Read.
How can a man then understand his own way?
Jeremiah 1 and 5. How then can a man say that he understands his own way? Men don't understand. You don't even know why you're here right now. You may think you know, but the Lord is literally the person that brought you here right now to hear the words of the Lord. Brought you here right now to get a better understanding of the scriptures. Whether you take it and say, hey, they were crazy. I stayed the whole time, but they're damn crazy and you leave. Ultimately, that's the Lord that put that spirit on you. Right? I didn't do it. You didn't do it. The Lord ultimately did it. Right? As many people that go to and fro every single day, they literally don't understand why they're going to and fro. The Lord does it because he's the all-powerful God.
That's right.
And he can't be the all-powerful God and damn humans can say they want to do what they want to do. That doesn't make sense. Hey, man, you know, I'm the all-powerful God. You better do this. But no, I ain't do it. That don't make sense. That don't make sense. We don't have no free will in this thing. The Lord literally sets up everything from why didn't Pharaoh let go of the children of Israel? Is that what happened? Is that what the Bible teaches you? Who hardened his heart? So did Pharaoh have control over not letting the children of Israel go? Sister, you just said God hardened his heart not to do it. So if God hardened his heart not to do it, then he didn't have control over that. He had no. You think after all the things that happened to Israel, it literally took for him to kill the firstborn before Pharaoh said, you know what, go ahead and let him go. No. No, the Lord did that literally so he can show his power. He hardened Pharaoh's heart just so he can show his power, that everybody in the earth knew that there was only one God in the world. Because the Egyptians were what? The greatest power on the earth at that time. So if I take down the greatest power of earth in a way that everybody's talking about it, now they know I'm the one true God. And from then what? Every time the Israelites walk by other nations, they damn famous. Because they was like, hey, that's the Israelites, man. They got the one living God. Literally. So the Lord literally hardened Pharaoh's heart. And Pharaoh had no control over it. So nobody can resist the will of the Most High God, right? Read what you got.
Jeremiah chapter 1 and verse 5.
Bring it up.
Before I formed thee in the belly,
Right?
I knew thee.
Before the Lord even formed Jeremiah, he knew him. Right? Read.
And before thou camest forth out of the womb, I sanctified thee.
Read.
And ordained thee a prophet unto the nation.
He ordained Jeremiah a prophet before he even came out of the womb. Jeremiah didn't get to choose that. He didn't wake up and say, you know what, I want to be a prophet. No, the Lord told Jeremiah's brother first. It didn't kind of work out. Jeremiah's brother said he didn't want to do it. Then he chose Jeremiah's sister. Jeremiah's sister said, nah, I ain't with that. He didn't want to do it. Then Jeremiah popped out and was like, I want to do it. I want to do it. Like you said with these people. That's not what happened. The Lord literally ordained it in the belly before he was even in the belly. When the spirit was in the spirit world, he already told Jeremiah, hey, you're going to be a prophet. It was already going to happen. Jeremiah didn't get to come out and choose not to be a prophet. Jeremiah even says in the book of Jeremiah chapter 20 that at one point he didn't even want to speak the words of the Lord no more because of how he was being treated. But the word of the Lord was like a fire in his belly that he had to speak the word of the Lord. He could not do it, even though he didn't want to. So there's no resisting the will of the Most High. Right? Go ahead.
In the book of Romans, chapter 9 and verse 17.
Bring it up.
For the scripture saith unto Pharaoh, even for this same purpose have I raised thee up, that I may show my power in thee, and that my name may be declared throughout all the earth.
Right? So the Lord raised up Pharaoh just to show his power in him. Pharaoh didn't have no decision. He had no decision on the matter. Right? Has the potter power over the clay. The potter has the power over the clay. The Lord is the potter. We are the clay. So the Lord is the one that fashions us and makes those decisions. Go ahead.
This is Romans chapter 9 verse 21. Has not the potter power over the clay?
See that?
Over the same lump to make one vessel unto honor and another to dishonor?
Right? So the Lord literally has power over the clay. Right? There is no free will. So what, Ezekiel 18, what about Ezekiel 18?
It says that if someone is walking, I'm just paraphrasing, if someone is walking in the wrong direction, then they can turn around and become good. If someone's evil and then they decide to become good, then they can change.
He's talking about Ezekiel 18 and 21, but that's not dealing. That's not. They're already preordained to turn good. It's not a decision they made. It was already. What happened with Paul?
First he was persecuting the Jews.
Exactly.
And then Jesus appeared to him in a vision.
Right.
And he fell and he became blind, and Jesus called him into ministry.
So did Paul have a decision on the matter? Where was his decision, sister? When did Paul have a conversation with Jesus to say, you know, I kind of was persecuting these people and I ain't gonna do it. I don't know if I want to do it. What's gonna happen? What's in it for me, Lord? Yeah, Paul didn't do it. He got knocked off his donkey, and the Lord compelled him to do the work. Hey, Shalom, brother. Shalom, King.
No free. He'll be over here.
That brother be out here every other weekend, man. Right? Hold on. Right? Paul didn't have no decision in the matter. How do you deal with Paul talking about us being predestined to adoption? What does that mean?
That means that God meant for us to be his children, everybody.
That's not what that means. No. That's not what that means.
That's what,
Who are the children of God?
whoever chooses.
What Bible verse says that?
I have to think off the top of my head.
Give me Romans 9 again, right? Romans 9 and 7, right? Give me Exodus 4 and 22, right? Give me Galatians chapter 22. 4 and 22.
I got Romans.
Give me Galatians 4 and 22 first, right?
I'll take Galatians 4 and 22.
You got Galatians?
Yeah. This is the book of Galatians, chapter 4 and verse 22.
Right.
No. For it is written that Abraham had two sons.
Right.
The one by a bondmaid, and
Right.
the other by a free woman.
Right.
But he who has of the bondwoman was born after the flesh.
Right.
But he of the free woman was by promise.
By what?
By promise.
Read.
Which things are in all glory. Allegory, which things are in allegory. For these are the two covenants, that from the Mount Sinai, which degenerate to bondage, which is Agar.
Right. Hagar.
For this,
Hagar, but it's on my Hagar. Go ahead.
for this Agar is Mount Sinai in Arabia,
Right.
and answereth to Jerusalem, which now is and is in bondage with her children.
Right. Read.
But Jerusalem, which is above, is free, which is mother of us all.
Right. Read.
For it is written, rejoice, thou barren that bearest not.
Right.
Break forth and cry, thou that travailest not.
Right.
For the desolate hath many more children than she which hath an husband.
See that? Read. Talking
Now-
about the difference between Hagar and Sarah. Read.
Now we brethren, as Isaac, we are the children of promise.
As who?
As Isaac, we are the children was Salah. Now we brethren, as Isaac was, are the children of the promise.
Right. We brethren. Who's Paul's brethren? As Isaac were the children of the promise. Who's Paul's brethren that he's referring to are the children of the promise as Isaac? Who are Paul's brethren?
Jews.
So he's referring
Israelites.
to the Israelites as the children of the promise as Isaac was. Not everybody. Read Romans.
This is Romans 9 and 7. Neither because they are the seed of Abraham are they all children, but in Isaac shall thy seed be called.
So just because you are of the seed of Abraham does not make you children. But in Isaac is the seed called. The same thing we read in Galatians. Read.
That is, they which are the children of the flesh,
Right.
These are not the children of God.
And we just read the children of the flesh was Ishmael. Right? They are not the children of God. So everybody cannot be children of God when it's telling you right now that you have to be of the seed of Isaac. Read.
But the children of the promise are counted for the seed.
Right? Read.
For this is the word of promise. At this time will I come, and Sarah shall have a son.
And who will have a son?
And Sarah shall have a son.
Everyone will have sons.
And Sarah shall have a son.
So the promise was given to the son of Sarah, which is who?
The Israelites.
Isaac, right? Which in return was given to Jacob, which is the Israelites, right? Read.
And not only this, But when Rebekah also had conceived by one,
Right.
even by our father Isaac, for the children being not yet born,
Right.
neither having done any good or evil,
Right.
that the purpose of God, according to election,
According to what?
According to election.
According to decision.
According to election.
According to election. Hey, Isaac and Jacob didn't have no decision in the matter. They were literally chosen to be children of God according to election. This is once again the Lord showing you that there is no choice. I chose them to do this. Read.
might stand not of works, but of him that calleth. It was said unto her, the elder shall serve the younger.
Right, read.
As it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated.
But what?
But Esau have I hated.
They're all children of God.
But Esau have I hated.
Hey, the Lord says right there that he even hates Esau. So how in the world can we all be the children of God when the Lord is saying he hates a whole nation of people?
Con.
Well, my understanding, and I understand it differently. Being chosen is to be loved, and not being chosen is to be hated. Right?
Sister, what did you say, sister? Did it say not being chosen is to be hated?
Where's the context?
Well, the whole context is Romans 9:1 from the beginning, where it tells you who the promises are for, which is still the Israelites. The context goes into the fact of the matter that the Lord chose the Israelites. That's what it literally goes into.
Yeah, and
Right?
it's because Jesus came through.
Say it again.
It's because Jesus came through them.
Where does it say that? You're asserting that. Where does it say that the Israelites were chosen? Because the Lord could have brought Jesus through anybody's loins. He didn't have to bring them through the Israelites. Jesus came through the Israelites because the Israelites were the chosen seed.
That's right.
Not the other way around. Right? So see, it's the problem when you've been indoctrinated in something, that even when all these precepts come out saying the same thing, you want to hold on to something that you've been taught, a preconceived notion. Right? In order for us to learn anything, we got to kind of put away the things we've been taught and bring and let the new information enter in, and then do our own due diligence behind the new information.
That's right.
But if we hold on to a preconceived notion, we're never going to learn anything. It doesn't matter what that is, right? That's why it's better to teach children than adults, because children, what they haven't soaked up all these different ways of philosophy. So when they are taught something new, and they will actually listen to it. Right? Adults, they have all these different philosophies they've soaked up, and it hardens their heart against learning new information. Right? So, sister, honestly, if you want to start to understand things on any higher level, you have to kind of put away what you think you know, and you have to actually listen to what the Bible is telling you. Because like I said, all of us were raised in Christianity. All of us have preconceived notions that we thought we knew. But in order for us to grow and actually be able to go through the precepts the way we go through the precepts, is literally by putting away the things we thought we knew and starting to learn what the Bible is actually teaching us. Right?
Yeah,
The Bible is teaching you that this book is a love book written from the Most High God to His chosen people. It's an everlasting circle. You've been taught that the Lord had a damn love affinity with the Israelites all the way until Matthew. Then when Matthew came, the Lord no longer had this affinity with the Israelites. Now it's with everybody. But the Bible has never been that way. The Lord has never dealt with any other nation in that manner. So why all of a sudden out the blue, He's like, you know what? I always dealt with one chosen seed from the very beginning of Genesis, and now all of a sudden I don't want a chosen seed anymore. I want everybody. That doesn't make sense. It would make Revelation impossible to be fulfilled. Impossible for the Lord to love every nation. Because Revelation chapter 2 and verse 25 makes it very clear things that are going to happen. Revelation 13, 9 and 10 makes it very clear things that are going to happen. Revelation 11 and 1 make things very clear the things that are going to happen. Right? These things, in order for them to come to pass, it can't be every nation that's chosen. It's impossible. Right? What is the kingdom of heaven?
There's two different aspects. The kingdom of heaven is God's control in our lives, and the kingdom of heaven is also Jesus returning and taking control of the earth.
And taking control of the earth. And then what?
And, well, I believe what you believe, that the earth will be destroyed, that God's people will be in New Jerusalem, and that the wicked will be burned with fire.
So there's just going to be anybody who's a believer is God's people.
Anybody who believes in Jesus Christ and follows what He says.
It's God's people. And those will all be in New Jerusalem. Give me Revelation 2 and 25. Let's find out if that's possible.
Revelation
2 and 25.
Revelation chapter 2 and verse 25.
Bring it out.
But that which ye have already hold fast till I come.
Right?
And he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end,
Right?
to him will I give power over the nations.
Read.
And he shall rule them with a rod of iron.
And what?
And he shall rule them with a rod of iron.
Read.
As the vessels of a potter shall they be broken to shivers.
So how are all the nations going to rule over all the nations?
One more time.
Your theology doesn't line up with that prophecy, right? Your theology is, hey, it doesn't matter what nation you are, you're going to be in the kingdom of heaven, ruling with Christ. But the prophecy is saying that when the Lord returns, those that have kept their works, He will give them power over the nations, that they shall rule them with a rod of iron and break them to pieces, right? So, with our understanding of the Israelites being the only nation that can be saved, that makes perfect sense. That a ruling nation is going to rule over other nations. That makes perfect sense. Your understanding of every single nation being saved with Christ does not line up with their prophecy. That's impossible to happen with their prophecy. There's no possible way.
So one more time, read it again.
Revelation 2 and 25.
Revelation chapter 2 and 25. But that which ye have already hold fast till I come.
Right?
And he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end,
Right?
to him will I give power over the nations.
Right?
And he shall rule them with a rod of iron.
Right?
As the vessels of a potter shall they be broken into shivers.
Right? That's plain.
It is plain.
That's plain.
It says,
There's no way.
He that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end,
Right.
to him will I give power over the nations. It doesn't say a specific nation. It says people
Sister, how are every nation going to rule over every nation? That does not make sense. Every nation is not going to do that. It's saying that because it's talking about one particular nation of people that's going to have power over other nations. That literally lines up with Isaiah 14 and 1. What Isaiah 14 and 1? It literally lines up with Isaiah 14 and 1.
Can we be a new nation in God?
This is the book of Isaiah chapter 14, right? And verse 1.
Bring it out.
Reads, for the Lord will have mercy on Jacob.
On everybody.
On
Jacob.
Read.
And will yet choose Israel.
Right? Read.
And set them in their own land.
Because the Israelites are not in their own land. Right? They fled from Roman persecution in 70 AD. Right? Into West Africa. Right? Read.
And the strangers
Meaning the other nations. Read.
shall be joined with them.
Right?
And they shall cleave unto the house of Jacob.
Right?
And the people shall take them
Uh-huh.
and bring them to their place.
Right?
And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land.
Shall what?
Shall possess them in the land.
That lines up perfectly with Revelation 2 and 25. Having power over these nations. Right? Read.
In the land of the Lord,
Right.
for servants and handmaids.
For servants and handmaids. Read.
And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were.
And they shall take them captive who captive they were. Because the Israelites were taken captive and they're in captivity to this day. Read.
And they shall rule over their oppressors.
They shall rule over the oppressors. Dealing with the same fashion of Luke chapter 1 and verse 68 down to 71, man. Him coming to redeem us out the hand of our enemies. Literally allowing us to rule over our oppressors.
That's right.
That lines up with the doctrine that's taught in the Bible that the Israelites are going to be saved by the hands of Christ, and be the ruling nation over these other nations. Right? There's going to be a ruling government, and that ruling government is going to be the Israelites. And that's plain, right? There's no way that you can fit every nation into any of these prophecies. That you would be calling Isaiah a liar. Isaiah will be a false prophet because that never happened. So that has to still happen. So if that does not happen, then Isaiah is a false prophet, and we might as well throw away the whole book. We might as well throw away the whole book.
Do you believe in the devil?
Y'all believe in the devil?
That he exists?
That's the devil standing here right now.
That's right. That's so
The
right.
devil standing here right now.
That's so right. Because he knows it's true.
My question is, okay.
What does devil mean?
Turn the camera on.
What does devil mean, sister?
Devil?
Yeah.
I think it just means somebody who's bad.
Devil means deceiver.
Deceiver. Okay.
Right? Go ahead.
And the devil, like, I believe in the literal devil. And I believe that the reason why we're oppressed is not just because of a specific nation. I believe it's the devil is the one who oppresses us.
The devil oppresses us. The devil does oppress us with sin in the flesh.
He oppresses us
with sin in the flesh.
But he also oppressed us with slavery.
With slavery.
He's the one who
so
put
when
us
we read Deuteronomy 28 and 68, let's see if it said devil. Let's read that again. Let's see if it said the devil or if it said our enemy.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 68.
Give me Deuteronomy 28 and 48.
And it reads, and the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
Right.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee.
Right.
Thou shalt see it no more again.
So the Israelites were going to slavery on slave ships. Read.
And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies.
And when we got off those slave ships, it said we will be sold unto our enemies. It didn't say that we will be sold unto the devil. It said we'll be sold unto our enemies. When we got off those slave ships, it's a known fact that the so-called white man is the person we were sold to.
That's right.
That's a known fact. That's not.
people the idea to sell.
Who gave people the idea to sell us? I mean, people been selling people since who knows how long.
Who gave them that idea?
What do you mean? Who gave? The Lord gave them that idea. The Lord gave them that idea. He just said it in the curses in Deuteronomy 28. And the Lord shall bring thee. Who brought us into Egypt?
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
The Lord. The Lord. It didn't say the devil. The Lord is going to do this. This is the Lord that's doing this. Go back to 28 and 15.
Book of Deuteronomy 28 and verse 15.
Yeah.
But it shall come to pass.
Right.
If thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God,
right,
to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
This is from the Lord. This is not from anybody else. Satan can't do anything unless the Lord allows him to do it. You can say the spirit of Satan hopping on a so-called white man. I won't argue that. But who you think gave Satan that authority?
Authority?
Who gave Satan the authority to hop on a so-called, to hop on anybody? To do anything?
Satan stole authority.
He stole authority?
He doesn't have
so what
authority.
you're saying right now is the most high God, the most powerful being, can't keep his own authority.
He can keep his own
Does the
authority.
Bible teach that Satan stole his authority?
The Bible does teach that.
Give me the verse.
Revelation 12 and verse...
No, sister. No. That's why you need to stay out of Revelation. No. Give me Job 1 and 7. Job 1 and 1. Right? Give me Job 1 and 1, and give me the book of Kings. When the Lord, give me the book of Kings where the Lord he said the lions. When he said the lions.
Hey, Job 1 and 1.
Give me Job 1 and 1.
This is Job chapter 1, verse 1.
Right.
Get up.
There was a man in the land of
Jump to 7.
This is verse 7. And the Lord said unto Satan.
The Lord said who?
The Lord said unto Satan, when comest thou?
Where you coming from, Satan? Go ahead.
Then Satan answered the Lord and said, from going to and fro in the earth, and from walking up and down in it. And the Lord said unto Satan, hast thou considered my servant Job?
Now he's literally asking Satan, have you considered my servant Job? Read.
That there is none like him in the earth.
Right.
A perfect and upright man.
Right, read.
One that fears God and
escheweth
evil.
Right.
Then Satan answered the Lord and said, do Job fear God?
Right.
And has not thou made an hedge about him and about his house?
Right.
And about all that he had on every side?
Right.
Thou hast blessed the work of his hands.
Right.
And his substance is increased in the land.
Right.
But put forth thy hand now and touch all that he had.
Hold on. Let me put forth my hand.
But put forth thy hand now and touch all that he had.
Satan is asking the Lord to put forth his hand on Job. Right? Read.
And he will curse thee to thy face.
Right, read.
And the Lord said unto Satan, behold, all that he had is in thy power. Only upon himself put not forth thy hand. So Satan went forth.
So he literally just told Satan, hey, go ahead and do what you want, but don't touch him. You can take all from him, but don't touch him. That's literally the Lord giving Satan the go ahead and the power to go do evil to Job. So how is it that Satan took power when right now he's being given permission to go do something by the Lord?
It says all that he had is in your power.
Who's giving him the power? You're saying that Satan took it. The Bible is telling you that Satan is literally taking a commandment from the Lord right now.
I mean, if you're the all-powerful God.
That's what I said already.
Yeah, you can't take power, but he's claiming power.
Hold on, sister. He's getting permission. He's not claiming anything. He's getting permission. He's also being given strict instructions with the permission he's being given. Strict instructions. Read on.
So Satan went forth from the presence of the Lord, and there was a day when his sons and his daughters were eating and drinking.
No, he said, put forth thine. He said all that he has in his hand. Read that part again.
And the Lord said unto Satan, behold, all that he had is in thy power.
Right.
Only upon himself.
Only upon himself. What?
Put now forth thy hand.
Put now forth thy hand. So not only did he give him the authority to do these things, he's also giving him instructions saying, hey, but you can't touch Job. You can touch all that he have, but you can't touch Job. So not only is he giving him authority, he's also giving him instruction on what he can and cannot do. So if Satan has any control over the things that happen, the Lord could not give him instruction. The Lord will literally be like, well, he's Satan, I can't stop him. No, he's literally telling him, this is what you can do and this is what you can't do. The same way a damn parent would tell their children, hey, this is what you can do and this is what you can't do. So Satan don't have no authority without the Lord. So did Satan put us in slavery? No, the Lord put us in slavery. The Lord is the one that allowed the so-called white man to do these things. Did he allow Satan to hop on the so-called white man? Of course, but he gave the word. The Lord is the all-powerful God. There's nothing that is done without the Lord. Nothing. Right? Read Kings. I need Kings.
Is it in God's nature to do that type of thing?
Is it in his nature to do it?
Yeah, to
Sister,
put us
he
into
just
slavery.
did it. Did he not kill off Job's whole family?
God did?
He's the one that told Satan to do it.
He didn't tell him. He said you're allowed to do it. You have the power to do it.
Sister, him
Not
allowing.
that I want it to happen.
He told him to do it. He said, put forth thine hand. Read it again. He told him to do it.
But put forth thy hand now and touch all that he had, and he will curse thee to thy face.
Read.
And the Lord said unto Satan, behold, all that he had is in thy power. Only upon himself put now forth thy hand.
So he literally told him to do it. He says all he has is in your power. He's telling him to do it. He's not saying, he didn't say allowing somebody to do something when you're telling them to do it is the same thing. Literally. So if I come up to you right now and he has the power to stop me from killing you, and he does not stop me from killing you, did he allow me to do it? And it's not the same thing as me telling him to do it, him telling me to do it. They're going to charge him the same way they would have charged me, because he didn't stop me. It's the same way. He could have stopped Satan. He could have said, hey, you know what? No, it's not in me to allow that to happen, Satan. Job is perfect. It's not in me to allow it to happen. You can't do that, Satan. I'm not with that. No, he said, hey, go ahead. And it even went even further on in Job 2:7. Now he tells him, hey, you can go ahead and do whatever you want, but don't kill him. Hey, you can do whatever you want to him, but don't kill him. Give me Kings.
And what? 1 Kings 22 and verse 19. And he saw, hear thou therefore the word of the Lord.
Right.
I saw the Lord sitting on his throne.
Right.
And all the hosts of heaven standing by him on his right hand and on his left.
Right.
And the Lord said, who shall persuade Ahab?
Right. Who shall persuade Ahab? Ahab had to fall. Right. Read.
That he may go up and fall at Ramah.
So the Lord wants Ahab to fall. He wants Ahab to die. It's not talking about him kind of falling and tripping. It's talking about him dying. And the Lord is right now saying, hey, who's going to persuade Ahab? And he goes and kind of kicks the bucket. That's the Lord that said that. Read. Isaiah 45 and 7.
That he may go up to fall at Ramah and Gilead.
Right.
And one said on this manner, and another said on that manner. And there came forth a spirit and stood before the Lord and said, I will persuade him.
Right.
And the Lord said unto him, wherewith?
Saying, hey, how you going to persuade him? Read.
And he said, I will go forth, and I will be a lying spirit in the mouth of all his prophets.
So he's literally gonna allow an evil spirit to go be a lying spirit in the mouth of the prophets of Ahab, to make Ahab believe that when he goes to battle, he's gonna win, only for him to die. And the Lord ordained it. You just heard the Lord say who gonna go forth and persuade Ahab that he may fall to his death.
I wish I could stay here and just talk all night. I think this is like, this is one of the most exciting Sabbath sections
Hold on,
ever.
sister. Let me read something
I gotta
else.
go.
Hold on. Isaiah 45:7.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 45 and verse 7. I form the light and create darkness.
Right?
I make peace
Right?
and create evil.
And what?
And create evil.
No, the Lord is not about evil.
And create evil.
Read.
I, the Lord, do all these things.
The Lord does all these things. Right? So, sister, hey, look, you know, Lord willing, you know, something that came out today, touched your spirit either now or later on down the road, and you come out of it, the Adventist church. You know, they got you in the right apparel, all praise to the Most High. You're not out here dressed like a harlot, so we're grateful to the Most High for that, right? You have a very meek spirit, all praise to the Most High for that, right? So it's not all bad, sister, but you got to come home. You got to come home.
I respect you because you are speaking from the Bible, and there are not a lot of people who are taking the authority of that word as it is. So I respect you guys, and I respect you're out here and you're representing God. And I just want to take your hand.
I got one scripture for you, sister Salaki, if I may. I got one more scripture for you. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 30 and verse 20. And though the Lord give you the bread of adversity and the water of affliction, yet shall not thy teachers be removed into a corner anymore. But thine eyes shall see thy teachers, and thine eyes shall hear a word behind thee, saying, this is the way, walk ye in it. When you turn to the right hand, and when you turn to the left, you shall defile also the covering of thy graven images of silver, and the ornaments of thy molten images of gold. Thou shalt cast them away as a minstrel's cloth. Thou shalt say unto it, get thee hence.
Nice, sister. So, you know, we out here every Saturday at 3:30 p.m. We out here.
Okay.
It has a YouTube channel on that. You can scan in, or it has an email. If you have any questions, please let us know the email, so we'll get you the
Thank you.
Be safe, sister.
Be safe, be safe.
That's how I
612.
It's not for you. Right. Oh, you got a question?
I told him it's not for you.
Oh yeah, no, it's not for you. I didn't want to fire him. He said he was the damn devil, man. What's going on? He's all crazy.
Hey, he knows the Bible.
I can't wait to watch this video. It's gonna be on.
Trying to tell
That
you.
boy dropped so many gems.
Trying to
All
tell you
praise to the
something.
Most High. Yeah,
All praise to the Most High.
all praise to the Most High.
Trying to tell you
Good
something.
job.
He
Working
still
through that
do
brother.
it. Right?
Yeah,
Hey,
working through that brother, huh?
Hey, let's get Isaiah 24:10 and Revelation 18:21 and close out, man.
Like I was telling King, I said, the sister want to come home, but
On
she's
me.
trying to save everybody.
You want to come home, man. It's all up to the Lord, though.
Y'all know what I'm holding, man.
All right, let me get that Isaiah 24:10.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 24, and verse 10.
Right?
Yo,
Salaki. And it reads, the city of confusion is broken down.
Right?
Every house is shut up,
Right?
that no man may come in.
Right? So the city of confusion is broken down. America will be broken down, thus saith the Lord, man.
That's right.
The Lord is going to break down America. And you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans need to repent and come back to the Lord or be broken down with it, man.
Right.
Revelation 18:21.
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 18, verse 21.
Read.
And a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone and cast it into the sea, saying, thus with violence,
Thus with love.
Thus with violence.
Thus with hugs.
Thus with violence.
Thus with kisses.
Thus with violence.
Thus with violence. Read.
shall that great city Babylon be thrown down. It shall be found no more at all.
Death to America.
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 Kwame Ashala.
Kwame Ashala.
Kwame Ashala.
Kwame Ashala.
Kwame Ashala.
Kwame Ashala.